The year is 2040. You're walking through Tokyo at rush hour, and something feels wrong. The trains still run on time. The streets are spotless. The vending machines still glow on every corner. But the crowds are gone. The salarymen are older. The schools are quieter. And when you look up, half the office buildings are dark. Japan didn't collapse. It didn't explode. It didn't fail loudly. It simply stopped moving forward. This was once the country that terrified the United States. In 1995, Japan's economy was larger than China's, Germany's, and India's combined. Some economists believed Japan would overtake America. Today, Japan is still rich, still advanced, still admired, but it is no longer powerful. And over the next few minutes, we're going to dissect how Japan traded dominance for comfort, and why reversing it may now be impossible. This isn't a story about incompetence. It's a story about choices. Japan looks fine on the surface. Low crime, world-class infrastructure, high life expectancy. But underneath, the economy has been frozen in time. Japan's GDP today is smaller than it was in 1995, almost 30 years ago. Meanwhile, the US more than doubled. China grew nearly tenfold. This phenomenon has a name: the lost decades. But here's the mistake people make. Japan didn't stagnate because it was poor. It stagnated because it was too comfortable. After the asset bubble burst in the 1990s, Japan made a decision. Instead of allowing failure, instead of forcing reform, they chose stability at all costs. Zombie companies were kept alive. Banks avoided writing off bad debt. Productivity was sacrificed to preserve jobs. The economy survived, but growth died. Now let's talk about the problem Japan cannot escape: people, or rather, the lack of them. Japan has the oldest population on Earth. In 2024, median age, 49, birth rate, 1.26. More adult diapers sold than baby diapers. Every year, Japan loses a city worth of people. Entire towns are abandoned. Schools close permanently. Hospitals outnumber maternity wards. And unlike Europe or America, Japan made another choice: no mass immigration. This preserved culture. It preserved social cohesion. But it also guaranteed decline. Because an economy without young workers is an economy without momentum. Robots can replace labor. They cannot replace consumers. Japan is famous for hard work, but hard work no longer leads to reward. Wages in Japan are lower today than in 1997 when adjusted for inflation. Young workers are trapped. Lifetime employment is gone. Housing is expensive. Careers are rigid. Risk is punished. So young people adapt. They don't protest. They don't revolt. They disengage. Japan has a word for it: hikikomori. Millions of young people have simply withdrawn from society. No ambition, no children, no future. An economy cannot survive that. But Japan is high-tech, people say. Yes and no. Japan is brilliant at incremental innovation. Better cameras, better toilets, better trains. But it failed at platform dominance. No Japanese Google, no Japanese Amazon, no Japanese Nvidia. Why? Because Japanese corporations prioritize consensus over speed, stability over disruption, seniority over talent. Startups suffocate. Risk is socially punished. Failure is permanent. Meanwhile, the US celebrates failure. China copies and scales aggressively. Japan perfects and arrives last. Japan has the highest government debt in the world, over 260% of GDP. Why hasn't it collapsed? Because Japan owes the money to itself. Its citizens funded the debt. But here's the problem: those citizens are retiring. As retirees withdraw savings, the government loses its funding source. The Bank of Japan prints money to fill the gap. This keeps the system alive, but it destroys the currency. The yen is weakening. Imports are expensive. Energy costs rise. Japan is being quietly taxed by inflation. Japan made a trade. It chose safety over risk, harmony over competition, stability over growth. And for decades, it worked. Life was good, but the world didn't stop. China didn't wait. America didn't slow down. And now Japan is facing a brutal truth: you can't coast in a competitive world. Japan now has two paths. Future 1, reform immigration labor flexibility, corporate disruption, short-term pain. Future 2, graceful decline, fewer people, smaller economy, comfortable stagnation. Japan will remain beautiful, orderly, safe, but no longer dominant. Japan didn't fail because it was weak. It failed because it was successful too early. It reached the summit, built a house there, and forgot that the world keeps climbing. And this isn't just Japan's story. It's a warning, because every rich country eventually faces the same question. Do you protect what you have or risk it to stay powerful? If you want to understand which country might be next, subscribe. The quiet collapses are always the most dangerous.